Hi guys, Trish here with Wreath Designs by Trish. I want to do a tutorial on how to make one of my swags with a homemade base. So you will need a 24-inch piece of wood. It could either be, this one just happens to be a 1.5 inch by 2 inch, I believe. Yeah, it's a 1.5 inch by 3/4 of an inch thick. Okay, so you'll need this, or you could use an extra long paint stirrer that you can buy at Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, any hardware store like that. You will need 12 pipe cleaners. You will need 3 different color meshes. I'm going to use red, white, and blue. If you wanted to do it all in the same color mesh, you could also do it that way. It doesn't really matter. I'm just, these are the 3 that I have, so I'm going to use these. You will need 36 pieces of 2.5 inch ribbon. I have one with some little trucks with the little flag coming out of it, out the back. I have this one. It says America, land of the free, home of the brave. It's just all broken up the way I cut it. And then I'm going to alternate these 2. I have a red with stars, and then I have a blue with white stars, and I'm going to alternate these. There's 12 of these all together. So there's 12 of these all together. There's 12 of these, and 12 of the little red trucks. Okay, so we're going to put 3 in each tie of those. We are also going to be using 2 of these little rockets, and what I did was I took like an ice pick or a tool very similar to that, and they're just made of foam. So I poked a little hole in them, and I put some hot glue in there, and then I took a pipe cleaner and I folded it in half, and I stuffed it down into that hole. So now I have something to secure these with to the swag. Okay, so that's how I did those. We are going to have 2 bows on it. I've already made one. This is going to be the small one that goes on the top, and then we will be making a bigger one with longer tails for the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to pan down and I'm going to show you guys how I made this wreath base. I've already made one. It's sitting over here, but I'm just going to put a couple of pipe cleaners on, and I'm going to show you guys how I did it. Okay, all right, so if you can see, this board has markings on it all the way down on both sides. So what I did is I went like a little over about 2.5 inches from the top right here. This is going to be our top because I drilled a little hole in the top, and I marked it, and then I just marked it 4 inches all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so there's 6. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then on the other side, I staggered it. So this is the top on this one, and this will be the top on this side. And I did the same exact thing. I went 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches, and 4 inches. So the bottom one down here is almost at the very end. So we're going to have 12 total. Okay. So then I took a pipe cleaner, I folded it in half, I found the middle, and then I took it and I put it on the mark that we've already made. And then I take my stapler and I'll just staple it a couple of times to the wood, just like that. And then I'll do that all the way down, 6 on each side. And then I'll take some hot glue and I'll put it over the staples right here just to make it just a little bit more secure. Okay, and that's all there is to it, to making you a homemade base. So this piece of wood actually came in an 8-foot length, and I got it at Home Depot, and I had them cut it in 24-inch segments. So I actually got 4 pieces out of that one piece of wood. So the total for the whole piece of wood was $6. So when you break it up and you cut it into 4 pieces, it comes out to like $1.65 a piece. And then you add on your pipe cleaners, and you know they're like a couple of pennies. So the whole base itself probably only cost me like $1.80. So that's not too bad. If you're in a spot and you know you don't have time to order from you know an online shop, then you know by all means you know try to make your own. And like I said, if you use a paint stirrer from Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart, it's even cheaper because you can buy those paint stirrers in a 3-pack for like 98 cents. So you're really coming out good, you know, if you do it that way. So that's how we did our base. So let me show you what it looks like when it's finished. So this is what it looks like when it's finished. You can see I have the hot glue on them now. This is going to be the top where I drilled my hole. We'll put a little piece of jute rope in there as a hanger, but that's all there is to it. So now we got us a base for our swag. So I'm going to fold these in half and get them ready for our mesh. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. Okay, so we're going to use 3 different colors. We're going to put red first. We're going to do red all the way down on one side. Then we're going to come back and we're going to do blue all the way on the other side. And then we're going to take the white and we're going to crisscross it over and back up this way. Okay? So then we'll have red, white, and blue throughout the whole wreath. All right? So let's go ahead and get started doing that. We're going to do the red first. So let me move my camera just a little bit better to where y'all can see the whole thing. All right, let me back up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we're going to do the red first. So we're going to do a 10-inch poof with a 10-inch mesh. So we're not going to have anything hanging off of it, and we don't have anything to zip tie it to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 5 or 6 inches from the end, and I'm going to fold it under, just like that. Okay? So now we're going to make our 10-inch poof. So we'll just measure out 10 inches. We're going to take this right here, and we're going to put it down into this tie. And we want to make sure that we secure it really, really tight, because we don't want that bottom piece sliding out. Okay, so I'll twist it like 3 or 4 times really, really tight, and now we're gonna go ahead and measure out our 10-inch poof. All right, so that's 10 inches. Just make sure that your edges are facing down when you're doing this. And we're gonna take it, we're gonna put it in the next tie, and we're gonna go down the length of the board. Okay. And just fold your edges under like you normally would when you had when you do a regular 21-inch poof. Just fold it under like that. And we're going to go ahead and do all 6 ties with a 10-inch poof. So it's just a very, very basic method. We're just doing it with a 10-inch instead of a 21-inch. As long as you keep your edges, your ends right here facing down, you shouldn't have a problem. Okay, so this is going to be our last piece, and we're going to do exactly what we did on the top. Okay, we're going to measure out our 10 inches. I'm going to get me a little clothespin and close it right here at our 10 inches, and then I'm going to measure out just a little bit more and cut that off, because we're going to have to fold it under. Alright, so this is where our 10 inches are. So we're going to take this and we're going to fold it under just like we did on the top. And then just make sure that you tie this one really, really tight, because we don't want that bottom piece slipping out. And then just make your regular poof. Just like that. Okay, so that's one side. Now we are going to go and do the same exact thing with the blue on the other side. So I'm going to take that first set of ties, I'm going to move it out of the way, and then I'm going to open up the other ones. Okay? Alright, so now we're going to do the blue. So just measure out maybe 3 or 4 inches from the end. We're going to take that and we're going to fold it under. Just like that. Okay, we're going to take this, we're going to place it in the first tie, and we're going to secure it really, really tight. Alright, so now we're going to do our 10-inch poof on this side, just like we did with the red. Just keep your edges folded under. And we're going to make 6 poofs on this side. Alright, so this is going to be our last one. So we'll measure out our 10 inches. We'll take our little clothespin here, and then we'll measure out a little bit more, maybe about 5 inches, just enough to tuck it under, and we'll cut it off. And then we'll tuck it under. And we'll place the whole thing down in this last tie. And secure it really, really tight. And if you're worried about these little nubs right here, guys, they're going to get covered up by the bow on the top and the bottom, okay? So don't stress about these little nubs right here. Alright, so now we got our 2 colors on. So now we're going to add our white that's going to run crisscross diagonal all the way down, okay? So just like we did with the other 2 colors, we're going to scrunch it up, leave about a 6 or maybe a 5 or 6 inch tail, maybe not even that long. Let me see how long it is. That's about 4.5, 5 inches. And we're going to take it We're going to fold it under. Okay, I'm going to start on the red side. Okay, so we're going to take it, we're going to put it in the top tie and tie it really, really tight. All right, so now we're going to do 10 inches and we're going to run diagonal across each side. Okay, so that's 10. So we're going to run it over here to the blue. We're going to tie it in. We're going to do 10 more inches. Now we're going to run it over here to the red side. Okay, we're going to do 10 more inches. We're going to run it back over here to the blue side. We're just crisscrossing it back and forth, guys. Alright, I'm going to do 10 more inches. I'm going to go back over here to the red side. I'm at the end of the roll over here, so let me just go ahead and pull it off. Alright, so we got one more left. So let's measure out our 10 inches. Use our little clip here and then cut off where we're going to wrap it under. Alright. Alright, so here's our 10 inches. We're just going to take this and wrap it under. And we're going to come across to right down here on the bottom. Or right here. We're going to stop right here. Alright. So you can go back in and you can adjust your poofs as you need it. If one looks a little bit off compared to the others. Okay, so this is what we have. Let me pick the camera up. So here we got our red, white, and blue all the way around, all the way up and all the way down. Okay, so now we're going to add our ribbon tails. So let me put the camera back down and we'll add the tails. So we're going to have one of the truck in each tie. We're going to have one of the America land of the free in each tie, and then we're going to alternate the red and the blue every other tie. Okay, so since we have 2 whites and then a color, I'm going to put the color in the middle, and then we'll put the flag on the top. So we're just going to fold them over, find the middle, scrunch it up. We're going to place these in every tie. Okay, so it doesn't matter where you start, just place it down in the tie and twist it off, just like that. And then we're going to take our ribbons and we're going to fan them out. We're just going to make a little fan with our ribbons. Just like that. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing every time that we go to the next one. We're going to alternate the red and the blue. So we're going to go to the next tie. We're going to add another set of ribbons. I'm going to tie it about at least 3 times. You want to make sure everything's in there, you know, really secure. And then we're just going to fan them out. So my ribbon tails were cut at 12 inches. I think I mentioned that at the beginning, but just in case, I cut them at 12 inches. They're all 2.5 inch width. I like to use the 2.5 inch because it covers a lot better than your 1.5 inch do. So I just prefer using a 2.5 inch for my ribbon tails. Okay, this is our next one. Just want to make sure I wasn't skipping one. Okay, we got one more on the end. I'm going to put these on the end. I'm going to put them facing sideways. Okay, So now we're going to go up the other side. This is not a difficult project to do, and I've done a few craft shows selling these, and they sell really, really good. And even if you're trying to do, you know, put something in your shop that you have, like an Etsy shop or your Amazon shop or even a website, these are really popular, and they're easy to replicate. So if you only have one made, you can still list like 2 or 3 because they're very easy to make, and they don't take that long. Once you get everything prepped, all your ribbons cut, your bows made, it doesn't take that long to put everything together. Okay, we just got a couple more tails. We'll be done with this part. Then we are going to add the 2 rockets. We will put on our top bow, and then we'll make the bottom bow. Alright, last set. Okay. Alright, so let me pick up the camera and show you guys where we're at right now. So this is what we have right now. You can see all the ribbon tails. You can still see the mesh coming through on the sides and stuff. So that looks good. So now we're going to add our 2 rockets. Okay. Okay, so we have these 2 rockets, and we've already got some pipe cleaners glued into them. So I'm going to put them diagonal like this. I'm going to take our little bow, I'm going to put it up here on the top. I just want to see where I need to put everything before I actually attach the rockets. So I think that looks pretty good. So we're going to take these two pipe cleaners and we're going to run them down. Let me move this one out of the way. And we're going to try to get them on either side of the board. So just find you a spot. And we're just going to attach them. We're just going to tie these two sides of the pipe cleaner together. Okay? And we can always go back and we can maneuver our ribbons to cover up those pipe cleaners to where they're not so noticeable. So don't worry about that. Okay, so that's one. Now we're going to put on the other one, and I want the two tips to be like facing each other. If you need to pick up your ribbons and move them, go ahead. It's not going to hurt anything. We can always move them back into place. All right. Okay, so now we're going to take our small bow that I already made and we're going to put this on at the very top. And that's why I said don't worry about those little nubs that are up there because they're going to get covered by the bow. So just take your wire, run it around to the back of the board and just tie it on. And I'll show you guys in a minute how we're going to make sure that this is really secure. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and tie it on. Okay. So now our little tails up here in the top are covering up those little nubs that you're worried about. All right? You can just rearrange your tails however you want them. You know, do some little finagling. All right. So here's our two rockets and our bow at the top. I'll get the camera up some more. So let me bring it down a little bit so you can see. So now we got our little bow right here at the top. We got our little rockets up underneath them. Put one tail on one side. You see that? Isn't that cute? That looks really cute. So now we're going to make another bow to put down here on the bottom. And it's going to be bigger than this one. It's going to have longer tails. That way we can, you know, all of this right here, this blank spot right here will be covered up. Okay? So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to get out my Easy Bow Maker. And we're going to make us a terry bow. It's going to be just a little bit of a modified terry bow. Okay? So these are the 4 2.5 inches that we're going to use. We have a little truck. We have the red, the stars, the truck and the stars. we have the Land of the Free, Home of the Brave, and then we have the blue with the glitter stars. Those are going to be our 2.5 inches. And then our 1.5 inches are going to be these 4. We have a navy stripe, we have a white rickrack, we have a red stripe, blue stars, and then we have a plaid, a red, white, and blue plaid. So those are going to be our 1.5 inches. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put the blue on the bottom. So for this terry bow, I'm going to make the bottom tail 12 inches. Okay, so we're going to measure out 12 inches. We're going to scrunch it up. We're going to twist it one time. So the ugly side of the ribbon is going to be facing up. We're going to place this down in our Easy Bow Maker. This tail is going to go, the longer tail is going to go to the bottom. The shorter tail is going to go to the top. Okay, so we're going to measure out 6.5 inches. We're going to scrunch it up. We're going to twist it one more time. Place it down in there. Check our measurement. So our ugly side is facing up. We're going to do 6.5 on this side. We're going to scrunch it up one more time. On this last one, we do not twist. We just place it straight down in there. Okay? So double check your measurement. Make sure you're at 6.5. So this loop is going to go up. This loop is going to go down. And then our tail, which is going to be shorter, we're going to cut the ones on top at 7 inches. So this tail is going to go up. So basically, guys, all we're making is an X. So our longer tail is going to go down, our shorter tail is going to go up, and then we're just making an X. So every time that we add a ribbon, we're going to go down 1/2 inch on the loops, and we're going to do it opposite of the way that we just did it. Okay, so let me explain. All right, so this one, we're going to start off with our tail at the top. Okay, so it's going to be 7 inches, so we'll measure out 7 inches. We'll scrunch it up. We'll twist it one time. Place it down in here. So we're going to go opposite of what we just did. Okay, so we ended right here with a tail, so we're going to start over here with a tail. Okay, we're going to place it down on top. This one is going to be 6 inches, so we'll measure out 6 inches. We'll twist it, place it down in there. This loop is going to go on top of this tail. All right, and then we're going to measure out 6 inches on this side. No twisting on the last one, just place it straight down in there. Double check your measurement, and then this is going to be our long tail. Okay, so if you want to, guys, you can just use this one that's on here for measurement. That way you don't have to worry about, busting out a tape measure or anything like that. So this loop is going to go down and this tail is going to go down. So you see how it was opposite of what we did? So every time we add a ribbon, we go down 1/2 inch on the loop and we make it opposite of the one that we're going on top of. It's just that simple. So let's do another one. So this is going to be our long tail. We're going to place it over our last loop, so we can just use that one for measurement. We're going to scrunch it up, twist it. So we're going opposite of what we just did. We're going to go down 1/2 inch to 5.5. Scrunch it up, twist it, place it down in there. This loop is going to go down on top of this tail. Do 5 1/2 on the other side. Scrunch it up. No twisting on the last one. Just place it straight down in there. That loop is going to go up and this tail is going to go up. And you can just use the one up here for measurement. Alright, that's number 3. Alright, so now we have the truck. We're going to start with our short tail. So we'll go this way. Scrunch it up and twist it. We're going down to 5 inches. Scrunch it, twist it. Okay. So this loop is going to go up with the tail. We'll do 5 inches on this side. No twisting on the last one. Just place it straight down. This loop is going to go down and this tail is going to go down. Alright. So that's it for our 2 1/2 inches. Now we're going to go down to our 1 1/2 inches. I'm going to do the navy first. We're going to keep doing the same thing. Scrunch it up, twist it. We're just going to keep going down 1/2 inch and opposite of the last one that we did. So we are at 4 1/2 inches now. So place it in there, twist it on the back side, do the other side, you can place it in there, and we don't have to twist on the last one, you just put it straight down in there. And if you noticed, I didn't scrunch it and twist it before I placed it in the pegs because this opening is getting really big right here. So it's just easier for me when it gets that wide to just stick the ribbon in there and then twist it on the back side. It's just easier for me to control it that way. Okay. So now we're going to do the plaid. We're going to start with our short tail. So we'll scrunch it up, twist it, place it down in there. We're going down to 4 inches now. Okay, and twist it on the back side. This loop is going to go up with the tail. Do 4 inches on this side. And we don't have to twist it on the last one, so we just scrunch it. When you put it down in between the pegs will scrunch it for you. It's going to be our long tail. Alright, we're going to do the stripes now. So this is going to be our long tail. So we'll measure it out long. We'll scrunch it up, twist it, place it down in there. We are going down to 3.5 inches now. So we'll measure out 3.5. And like I said, when you place it down in between these two pegs, it'll scrunch it for you. So all you have to do is just twist it on the back side. So you'll twist it. Measure out 3.5. This is going to be our short tail, and it's going to go to the top along with this loop. Alright, so our last 1.5 inch ribbon is going to be for our center loop. So we're going to make each tail 12 inches. So we'll measure out 12. We're going to scrunch it up. We're going to twist it one time like we normally do. So we got the bottom side of the ribbon facing up. We're going to take our ribbon, we're going to bring it forward towards us over the top. We're going to scrunch it up again. So now both of our tails are facing forward, and that's what we want, because these are going to be the center loop of our bow. Okay, so we're going to take this, we're going to put our loop on one side only. Both pieces, the bottom and the top, are going to go over to one side. Okay, so now we're going to take our zip tie. This one is a little bit longer than I normally use. No, it's the same size. It's 8 inches. We're going to see if this one fits. Hopefully it'll fit. I might have to get out my 11 inch. This ribbon's kind of thick. So we're going to take our zip tie. We're going to put it under all of our loops, all of our tails, everything to one side. We're going to slide it right up against our peg, and we're going to get it started before we take it off. You can hear the clicking, so we know we got it started. Okay, now we can pull everything off and not worry about the whole thing falling apart. Okay, so you see we have little grooves right here in the middle from the pegs on the bow maker. So we're going to slide our zip tie over to those grooves. Okay, so just take it and gently slide your zip tie over. Now we're going to bring it around to the back. Okay, we're going to tighten it a little bit more, not all the way yet, because we got some stuff we need to do before we tighten it all the way. Okay, all right, so now we have our short tails on top, we have our longer tails on the bottom. So we're going to take all of our short tails and we're going to move them to the middle. Okay, there should be one of each ribbon except for the center loop. Okay, so you should have one of each ribbon up here on top. Okay, all right, so now we got all of these on top. We're going to do the same thing on the bottom. We're going to take one of each. These are all the longer ones, so you'll know which ones go on top and which ones go on the bottom. We're going to put them in the middle also. And this is why we don't tighten everything. We don't tighten that zip tie up completely. Okay, so now we have one set on top, we have one set on the bottom. Now we're gonna work with our loops. Okay, so we're gonna crisscross our loops. We have the white American up here, and we're gonna get the white American down here. And we're gonna do the same thing with the blue. We have the blue with the stars up here, so we're gonna bring this blue with the stars down here. We're just making a big X with our loops. And then the other 2.5 inches, we can just move them to where they're in between the two outside ones. All right, so we're just making a big fan right here on both sides. Now we're going to do the same thing with our 1.5 inches. We got the navy stripe right here, so we'll pull the navy stripe down here. We have the plaid up here, so we'll pull this plaid down here, and then our stars and stripes will stay in the middle. Okay, and then the purpose of our center loop, guys, is just to hide this zip tie. So when we get ready, we're just going to open it up like this, and it's going to hide that zip tie and nobody will know it's there. Okay, so now that we have everything pretty much where we need it to be, we're going to go ahead and flip this over. We're going to close that zip tie all the way. We're going to tighten it up all the way, and we're going to lock everything into place. Okay, so just double check everything, make sure it's where you want it to be, and then just flip it over. But first we need to put a piece of wire in there, so we'll have something to secure this thing to the frame. You can use a piece of wire, you can use a pipe cleaner, doesn't really matter which one, whatever you want to use. Okay, so now we're going to close up the zip tie all the way. We're going to lock everything in place. Okay, so we'll flip it back over and we'll start dovetailing. So for the top, guys, you want these a little bit shorter than what you have, because I have found that if you leave them this long, they will start doing this on your bow. They will start folding over like this, and they'll be getting in the way of your loops. So I'll just go through and I'll cut off, you know, a couple of inches. I'm not measuring anything. I'm just cutting wherever. I mean, you don't want to cut them like all the way down here. You don't want to do that. You want to leave a little bit on there, but you don't want them real long either. So just go in and dovetail them wherever you feel like it. You don't have to measure them. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. The bottom ones, of course, you know, we're going to leave them a little bit longer because we like them to hang down. That makes your bow look real pretty. And again, I'm not measuring, I'm just cutting wherever. Just make sure you get all of them. And then we got our 2 center loops. Alright. Okay, so now comes the fun part. We're going to fluff all of this up. Okay, we're going to do our loops first. And I leave this zip tie on because I use it as a handle as I'm fluffing it. And after I'm done fluffing it, then I'll cut it off. So to fluff up your bows, guys, this is all you do. You just take your fingers, you put it in each loop, and you open them up. Just spread your fingers out to open up the loop. Okay? And just go through every loop and open them up on both sides, all the way around. You can open up that center tie, that center loop. Do the same thing on the other side. Just put your fingers in there. We're going to open up that loop. Alright, so now we got that part done. So now we're going to curl our tails. So we're just going to take them, we're going to run our fingers through the ribbon, and we're going to just twist it down just a little bit. These are, you know, there's not much to work with up here on top. So, because we have them a lot shorter than we do on the bottom, but it's the same thing on the top and the bottom. All right, so now we're going to do the bottom. So I'm going to fold these over so you can see what I'm doing. So to curl your ribbons, guys, just take them and put them either between your thumb and your index, or your thumb and your middle finger. It doesn't really matter. And you're just going to pull on it and kind of in an upward motion and just curl them down. And this right here, guys, is the secret to a beautiful bow. Doing this. Instead of just letting your tails hang there flat, this right here makes your bow look amazing. All right. So there we go. Beautiful bow. This one's going to go at the bottom. So we got our long tails down here flowing down. Real pretty. Okay, so now we're going to take and we're going to cut off this zip tie before I forget. We don't want to stick this bow on there with this zip tie. I just use it as my handle. Okay, so now we're going to bring our swag back over here, and we're going to take this bow and we're going to put it right here in between these two rockets, the base of the rockets. So just take your wire and find you a spot to put it around the board. You can stick your fingers up from the bottom and grab that wire. We can always go back and move everything around if we need to. All right. And then we just twist it around the board to get it on there secure. That way you make sure it's not going to fall off. And there we go. We have a finished product. Alright, so guys, I told you I was going to show you how we're going to make sure that these bows stay on. So we have our wire back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my staple gun and I'm going to staple this wire to the board a couple of times. Okay? And if you want to cut off the excess, you can. It doesn't really matter. You can either cut it off or you can, tuck it up underneath the board. It's totally up to you. So what I'm going to do now is, once I get this done, and I'm going to do the same thing up here on the top, I'm going to take some hot glue and I'm going to put it on top of these staples. So these bows are not going to go anywhere, okay? They will be secured to the board. You don't have to worry about them falling off. They'll be fine. So after I'm done with that, when I get my glue and my staples and everything like that on, I will take just a piece of scrap ribbon. Doesn't really matter what it looks like. Everybody has scrap ribbon hanging around. I mean, you want it to coordinate with what you're doing, of course. But I will take hot glue and I will run it all around the sides of this board, and then I will lay a real pretty ribbon on top of it. Okay? So that way you're not just sitting there looking at the board. Okay? So this if somebody happens to put this on a storm door or a screen door, they're just not looking at the wood with staples in it and stuff like that. So, and then of course don't forget, you'll need to put a piece of jute rope up here on top. Okay, so that's how you secure everything, guys. And you can go back and maneuver stuff if you think you need to. Move your bow around a little bit if you think you need to. But that's it, guys. I mean, it's it's not a hard project to do. It's actually pretty easy. So let me pick up the camera and I will show you guys what it looks like finished. So I'm gonna have to back up a little bit. So this bow is a little bit high, but we can always bring it down a little bit. But yeah, that's it. And if you wanted to add a little bit of something right here in the middle, which I'll probably end up doing, you know, I have like some little firecrackers and stuff like that. But I mean, basically we're done. And you know, this right here is super popular at the craft shows, guys, because I took 5 of these last Sunday and all 5 of them got snatched up really quick. So if you're looking for something, you know, a little different, something that'll catch, you know, somebody's eye, because everybody makes wreaths. Let's face it. You know, you go to a craft show, there's usually, you know, 2 or 3 people there that have booths with wreaths. But swags, not so much. And you know, everybody likes something different. So I just thought I'd share this with y'all. And of course, you know, you can always buy a regular base, you know, swag base off of Craft Outlet or Trinity Tree or anything like that. But if you're in a hard spot and you want to save a little money, you can always make your own. Okay, and you can do the same exact method with the base that you can do it with a paint stir. It's a little bit shorter, so you might only get like 11 ties versus 12 on like I have on mine, but it's basically the same thing. Okay, so that's our project for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next tutorial. All right, thanks, guys.